Welcome, everybody, to Catfish Weekly. Along with the Dr. Tim Lang and Cindy, I'm Lyle Stokes, and welcome to the show. It is very nice to have the doctor back in the house tonight. Along with the Dr. Tim Lang and Cindy, I'm Lyle. It's not me. You've been gone so long, you forgot how the program works.
I forgot about it.
That's all right. Man, you've been in and out and traveling all over the place. How many more trips you got this year, big guy?
I'm not sure. I may end up going back down to Alabama.
That'd be all right.
A couple of guys have asked me to fish some tournaments with them, so I may end up going there, and I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
I'm just, I've been gone for 3 weeks now, and it's nice to be back home.
Yep. Always nice to get home.
Luke kind of looked at me like, who are you? And then I went over to get him, and then, when I started petting on him, then he said, hey. All right. So,
hey, Stephen, how are you doing?
My long-lost human friend.
Well, he's been at your daughter's for quite some time.
Yeah, he has. Well, ever since I've been gone.
Yep.
So ever since I left to go to Texas. So
yeah, that's he didn't come back when you was home for what, few days.
I was only home for 2 days, and I never went and got him.
I was talking before the show, and I was talking to Sonny Parker this morning. He was so happy that you're able to do that. Looking forward to those days himself when he retires and is able to get out and do some of this stuff.
Yeah, and I am enjoying myself. I'm having a good time. This is something Lynn and I planned for years, and just what I tell everybody, I love my retirement. It just sucks doing it solo. But I'm moving on, and I'm doing what I know what Lynn would want me to do. She wouldn't want me to just sit here and sulk, and I miss her dearly, but she's always with me every time I'm out there.
No doubt about it.
Yeah,
no doubt about it.
But I'm having a good time. I caught some nice fish this past week, and Texas. It felt good to have the rods get ripped down in Alabama versus watching them get hung up in trees in Texas. That's kind of what I looked at it there. So
I just received a message, Doc, before we get on with your story here, and I forget it. That one of the winners last week, you wasn't here, but Miss Hillbilly Catfishing was a winner on our show last week, and she had recently won some of the lights that she won and donated them back to be given away to another viewer, which was outstanding of her to do that. And I got a message that we need to wish her happy birthday. So happy birthday, Miss Hillbilly Catfishing.
Yep.
Thanks for watching Catfish Weekly.
We appreciate you tuning in on a Monday night.
That's right. No baseball. There's no Cincinnati Reds, no St. Louis Cardinals, no World Series, none of that stuff. It's all over. And I'm kind of bumming about that, but we got catfishing to talk about, and that's what we do, and it'll be a fun time.
Yep.
And we're going to choose 2 more winners for the Holiday Spectacular this week, which, again, I would like to go over the sponsors that have signed up for that this year so far.
Yeah.
And we're getting more coming in. Yeah, we got more coming in every day. Of course, our old buddy Glenn from Rig Wrap is going to be in. King Kraken is going to be in as a sponsor. Offshore Tackle is always a donator to our prize giveaways. Dale's Tackle will be joining in. River Rat Reel Repair will be back this year with us. He gave away several reel cleanings last year, and he's going to do that again. He's going to put together a package, as so many of these are. I haven't got them exact what they're going to do yet, but that's what Jared had told me. Wade Mansfield from Grizzly Jig contacted me, and he's going to put together a package for us. And he put together a really nice package, and we spread it out amongst several of the grand prizes last year. Jason McDuffie and B&M Rod is going to donate some products, and we'll get those in here and see what we got and decide how we're going to divide those up. Muddy River Catfishing. Many of you know Chris Flores. He's going to throw in some Timberlake Cobra kits to make dragon weights out of. Of course, Lena and Tim Hardwick with Whisker Sticks LED lights. I'm not sure what they're going to do yet, but Lena and Tim are always really good about donating lights. They now have rods and rod holders for bank guys, and several other items, apparel of all kinds, and hats and hoodies and all that. So we'll see what they get. And Peter Dries with Northwood Brands is now on board with us as of today. So like I say, they're coming in daily. So we'll be talking about some of them and give away a couple of things later on tonight besides our regular prize wheel spins. So ought to be a fun show. But why don't you tell us a little more about your trip to Alabama, Doc?
Well, I showed up on Monday, I believe. I got there on Monday. Immediately tried fishing for skipjacks. That was one of the worst adventures I've ever been through. Just they were there, just couldn't get them to hit everything. And I carry an arsenal of different jigs, all kinds of. I mean, it's just unreal how much I've got because I've learned when you go into different parts of the country, the skipjacks are a little bit different. You know, some of them want jigs, some of them want sabikis, and so I carry 2 or 3 poles that are all rigged up with different ones. You know, got Foley spoons on them and stuff like that. I threw and threw to the point where finally I just kind of gave up, sat down on a rock, and just sit there and watch. You know, it's absolute torment when you're sitting there looking into the water and you see the skipjack just ripping the shad apart, and you can't get them on the line. So, but
it happens.
Yeah, and that's part of that's part of fishing. You know, but I never did. You know, right at dark, the one night Joe Lutke and Mark, what's his name? Yeah, they were down there, and I had told him, I said, well, the other night I got a dozen as it got dark, and I no sooner said that than boom, I put a 3-pounder on the bank and then threw another cat, and it was like I caught 8 in a row, and then that was it. They were done. So got kind of aggravating, but we ended up having enough bait. But I had a great time. We caught a lot of fish and some really nice fish. Not tournament winning fish, but nice fish.
Yeah. But you caught a ton of them.
Oh yeah.
Glenn, the skipjacks are normally caught on jigs or sabiki rigs or something like that. I have caught them in a cast net before, but you got to have one that really sinks fast because they'll get out from underneath of them a lot of times, unless they're high in the water column. But most of the time they'll sneak out from underneath there before it gets to the bottom. But Doc was using jigs and sabiki rigs, and what's the name of those things that Marty Gerloff turned us on to last year, Doc?
The camo lures.
Yeah, Shamo lures.
Shamo lures.
They work really well. Kind of designed for skipjack, but you catch a lot of other species of fish on them.
Yeah,
but
and what when it's that hard, I really think the skipjacks know it, and they just like throwing the jig back at you.
Yeah,
which infuriates me to no end, and especially when I get him near the bank and I'm getting ready to lift it out, and he spits it at me and then takes off.
Yep. You remember the trips that we took down skipjack tripping years ago when we'd show up over the first of the weekend of the new year every year. Yeah. I remember we was lined up down there at Cumberland City, and Steve Douglas was out the end of that because you can't bring your boat up in there, and he was catching as many from his boat
Yeah,
as a lot of us was catching on the bank. He was tearing them up down there.
he was wearing them out.
Yep, he did sort of like the rest of us did. We would throw them up on the bank and let them cool out. Of course, it was cold enough; it didn't take very long for them to cool out.
Right.
And then put them in freezers or coolers. And of course, I went back to the motel and on the back of the truck, run an extension cord out there, and I vacuum sealed them and packed them in ice for the trip home. But now I have a little trailer. If I wasn't pulling a boat, I'd take a trailer and my generator. And we have a couple of small freezers here in the shop, one specifically for bait. And I would load them on the trailer with that generator, and I'd go down there and I'd vacuum seal them all right there and then bring them home. And they'd already be froze. All you'd have to do is get some help getting the freezer out and back in the garage, and that'd be that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and the weather kind of turned sour. I think it was on Wednesday. That cold front moved in, and then it was really rainy and windy the one day. I mean, that wind was kicking, the typical Wheeler Wilson wind that we see.
Yeah,
it was rolling the 3 and 4 foot waves out there. Now Ken's got an Alumacraft like yours. It's just an older one, and it handles the waves real well. They don't handle the wind.
No.
It definitely shoves them all over everywhere. So if you try spot locking on something, it's not going to work.
Yeah, you really got to pay attention. You got to pay attention how you do that. They do catch a lot of wind, especially if you have the enclosure on them. But there's not a flat bottom boat that I've ever seen anywhere that will take big waves like that boat does. It just cuts right through them and goes on. And it's not that you don't notice the waves, but it's not nearly as bad as a flat bottom boat. It's just not. Well, you've been in it and you've had big boats, and you know how that works. A lot of people say, "Oh, this boat will take them waves better than a V-bottom boat." No, they won't. You can say that all you want to, but a V-bottom boat cuts the waves instead of going over the top of them. They're just smoother. That's just the way of life. So people, they can talk that all they want to, but the guys that's been in it a long time, they know the difference. But hey, you know what time it is?
Oh, it's time to spin the wheel, isn't it?
It is. Cindy, give me a number between 1 and 5. Number 2, 1, 2. Roger DeMint is tonight's winner, and we're going to get him a spin as soon as I can. Yeah, get him a spin as soon as I move out of the way and let Cindy give her a whirl. Hooker's Terminal Tackle. Roger, if you'll contact James Arwood with Hooker's Terminal Tackle and tell him that you won some Reaper hooks while watching Catfish Weekly on the Rig Wrap prize wheel, he will hook you up with some and send them out to you. Thank you so much for watching Catfish Weekly. I know you watch it every week, and we appreciate it so much, as we do with James Arwood and everything he does for us. And Hooker's Terminal Tackle is another sponsor to the Holiday Spectacular. So James and his crew are going to be a part of that. And if I remember what he told me, Doc, James is going to donate a $100 gift certificate to Hooker's Terminal Tackle, and that will be probably one grand prize for somebody. And if somebody doesn't want it and they win it, they can let me know, and I'll be happy to take it.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
No, I don't think so.
Oh.
But if they do, I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here for you. We got a bunch of guys in the chat tonight, a bunch of YouTube guys, a bunch of viewers in general. So we welcome you all. K&B, Glenn's Catfishing Adventures, Miss Hillbilly Catfishing, Stephen Hare, Chunky Cats, Katrina Dockery, Fat Boy Dan, Skip Stewart, Junior Proctor, Muskrat Adventures, Busted Budget Outdoors. I believe that is Clint Pyatt from over in Springfield, Illinois area. Kentucky Catman, the Fishing Musician 2.0, Trophy Trash Fishing, Tied Up, Reel Down, Twerking Monkey, PD, Josh Monarch, Team Camo, Amateur Catfishing, Team Mid, bet him down at PK. What a swell guy. Black Chrome 84, Paul Bird is in the house. Chad Wall, winner the other day on the show. Chunky Cats, Jimmy LaRoe, Adam Isaacs, Leslie Gideon, Muskrat Adventures, to name a few. Not that we tried to miss anybody, but that's about as far back as I wanted to go. Oh, Busted Budget Outdoor, I was right. He said yes. So I got that right. That's awesome. Justin's Fishing Fetish. K and Beat, man, them guys come out with a video today, Doc. I watched it. It was really good. Had a great time watching them guys, his father and son, making them videos. It's really good. I watched some of Clint's last week, and they was really good. I really enjoy watching these guys do these videos, and some of them that have recently started are making great strides on the quality in which they're doing these. And some of the guys that's been around a while, like Dieter and stuff, and Steve, they kind of got it figured out. And these guys that are starting out, you can tell from the very first ones they do, and then 3 or 4, 5, 6, 8 videos into what they're trying to do. The Palmetto Cats is another one. The quality just increases so much, and they're growing, and that's a great thing for our sport. And the reason it's so great is because you can't watch hardly any catfish shows on TV, but you can go to YouTube and always find a good one.
That's right.
So makes it really well.
Hey, we got 70 thumbs up. Get to 100. We get a dip into Glenn's pocket again.
We do.
So,
we do. So that'd be great if we can make that happen.
Parker. Doc, do you have sea legs all the time since you're on the boat all the time? Yeah, but I'm going to admit to everybody, Saturday, I was about as sick as they come. Only because I lost one of the biggest fish I've ever had on the rod. On Friday, we put 98 pounds of fish in the boat. I think we were in 28th place, but we were only like 5 pounds out of the money on Friday. So felt pretty good, and I decided to start fishing a little bit more for the bigger fish. The rig I was using is what I term, y'all can call it whatever you want to. It's just that Joey Kirby showed me the rig. So my name is, I gave him the name, I call it the Joey Kirby rig. What it consisted of is this, it's got the wire and all that. And so you put the leader I always put the leader on the weight side of the thing. And then I tie my main line right to the other end right here. But what I found out was that what I call the modified, Doctor's Modified Joey Kirby rig, and it is consisted of, all it is I just cut the wire out, so that's what this is what I'm using, but I let that float run free on the line. It's not fixed.
Still
what I found out, and I had a 13-aught hook tied to it. What I found out is I could get this thing to snake through those cedar trees without getting hung up. Now, there were some cedar trees that just said, no, you are not going to go through me, and I lost some hardware. But for the most part, we were able to sneak through the cedar trees with this modified Joey Kirby rig.
Good deal.
One of the fish on Saturday, I like to, when man, my nose is just itching like crazy. One of the things that I do when I am dragging large skipjacks is I try to get 100, 175 feet behind the boat. That way the rod's up high, the angle of the line is a little bit different, and it has a tendency of, just kind of sneaking over top of everything. Well, we're moving right along. Now I'm using a black horse rod. I have a 7,000 lever drag. They do not make these things anymore. My
That's
lever
before my
drags are
time.
like 25 years old. And what I found out, when you shove the lever drag up, you shove it so far, and then you have to push a button down, and then you push it up 3 more notches. Well, I found out with the modified Joey Kirby rig, if I shoved it all the way up to the maximum drag setting, I have no idea what it is. All I know is it is really, really tight. It would allow, that big skipjack would get hung in the tree, and then it would pop him out with that. It would bow that rod down, and then it would pop him out. Well, we were going through this one set of trees. We had marked a huge fish on the screen. And the next thing I knew, that rod was it just got whipped down, and the drag was humming on it.
Oh, wow.
And I jumped up and I told Kenny, I said, this is a fish we've been waiting on. And got it about halfway to the boat, and it came unglued. And I literally leaned over the side of the boat, and I thought I was going to get sick. I brought it in. I had put out a 3-pound skipjack. So I cut the tail off, put the whole thing out. I couldn't cast it or anything. I just dropped it behind the boat. And then, I just let the boat keep going till I got the line out. But what we found out when Kenny goes, well, it wasn't your problem. He said, look at this bite mark. So now on a 3-pound skipjack, everybody knows that the gill plates are what? About 2.5 inches wide. That was the mark that was on that gill plate. It was almost a 2-inch wide mark where that fish had bit down on that gill plate, couldn't bite through the gill plate, but he was able to, pop all the guts and everything out of the skipjack and then pulled it all back. Had just missed the hook. I don't run double hook rigs because I don't like to get that. The second hook likes to get down in their gullet, and I don't like to get it like that. So, I take a chance and run a single hook rig. But I do run a large, 13-aught hook, punching them through you got that spot underneath their chin, and I work that hook through there and then pop it out the nose. Most of the time it nails them, but not that time.
Well, and that's part of it. That's too bad. That's probably a very valuable fish, but that's fishing. That's the way it goes. Chunky Cats Fishing, thank you so much for your donation. We appreciate it. But yeah, you don't always get them, but the next time you go down there, that fish is still in there for you, Doc. Maybe you can pick him up while you're down there.
Oh, I'm definitely going to go back and give it a try.
I'm quite sure.
Another one I had using a planer board, and he ripped the planer board back, and then I couldn't do anything with him. And I told Kenny, I said, I said, we may have another hog on here. And what had happened is he had run it into a tree, and I brought the tree up along with him. So the tree actually appeared. The tree was about 10 foot long. It appeared on the surface of the water, and then the fish was trying to take the tree and everything else down. So we had to bring the tree in, and then Ken had to unwrap the line off of it. The whole time the fish, which was a 32-pound blue, the whole time he's trying to rip it down to the bottom of the lake where we were fishing, and we were on Wilson. And but we finally got it in. But fortunately and unfortunately, I hate culling out 30-pound fish, but the rules are the rules.
That's right.
And we had a 42, so my 32 had to go.
Yep, that's the way that works. David Funk says, do they redistribute the release of fish weighed in all over Wheeler or just at the ramp? Unless something has changed, I've never seen anybody release them anywhere except at the ramp. Yeah,
Right.
I've never seen anybody haul them all over the place and release them. They try to get them back in the water as quickly as they can, and the
They did.
quickest way to do
They
that's
did
at
have a
the ramp.
relief boat there, though.
I understood that they did have a pontoon or something
Yeah,
that they took
they
them
were
out to the
bringing.
main lake, but I don't see them taking them very far.
Yeah,
Usually at the end of the cove or something, and that's about it.
yeah. So
But that's a long cove where they weigh in there. So
yeah, but like I was on Wilson, and there was quite a few boats that were on Wilson. So the fish that were on Wilson are now in the Wheeler.
oh, somebody wants to know where you get the 13-aught hooks, Doc.
Not from one of our sponsors, unfortunately. It's from T.I. Blakemore.
Okay. And what brand are they?
I think these are Gamakatsus.
Okay.
So
I know guys use 12s and stuff. I never use anything that big. I figure if that 10 ain't big enough, then
well, normally I use an 8.
yeah,
But when I'm using 3-pound skipjacks,
that's a big fish.
that 8 just isn't quite big enough to get through there.
Yep,
The tip, because it's a circle hook, the tip has a tendency of pushing back into the head. But with the 13-aught hook,
it ain't gonna do that.
No, it gives you plenty of. This hook it's got a pretty big gap in it. It's probably about 1.5 inches across from this point to the shank right here.
It's a lot of hook.
It's a big hook. It's a heavy hook. Great for big skipjacks.
I'll bring in.
And as you can see, it's got a little bit of an offset. See that?
Yep, I do.
There, and I like that. That's
me
why
too.
I like the hook.
Yeah, if I get hooks that don't have that, I usually put it in them.
Put them in there and give them a little bit of a twist.
And I put them in a vise to do it. I don't try to bend them anymore. I just put them in a vise. No. That's just nuts.
Chad was using 10-aught reapers.
If I use a lot of 10-aughts, I'll bring in Luke Hinges. Give me a shark hook that they use shark fishing. And the next time I think about it, I will bring it in the house. It's actually, I keep it in the boat, but because every time I see it, I think of old Luke. But I'll bring that baby in, and I don't know what size it is, but it's a lot of hook. It's a lot bigger than that one you got.
Yeah, well, I've got one here at the house. Actually, I take it with me when I do seminars because it's easy. If somebody wants to see how to snell a hook, I can take large rope and
right
and tie them, show them how to do it. And it's a big hook. It was.
That's a lot.
I've had it a bunch of years.
Yeah, Hooker's Terminal Tackle has some bigger hooks. I don't know how big they are, Zach. I'll have to check into that. Terry Rogers is in the house tonight. Welcome, Terry. Haven't seen you in there. I see you normally says he normally uses 10-aught, but that's like I say, I like 10-aughts, and Cindy usually fishes with 8s. But like I've said before, if we're at tournament fishing, her job is to put fish in the boat, as many as she can. She'll get a big one occasionally. She'll get some smaller ones occasionally, but she can catch all of them she wants. I'm only looking for one big bite. I want, and sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. And I've used great big pieces of bait, caught little bitty fish, because them little fish sometimes, if they're feeding, they're not shy of a big bait. Just the way it is. But in the meantime, we're going to spin the Rig Wrap prize wheel again, Doc. And then what do you say we draw out for the first of the grand prize giveaways?
All right. Sounds good. I'm going to load that up.
All right. Give me a number between 1 and 5, my man.
3.
1, 2, 3. And the winner this time is Keith Smart. And I'll move out of the way so Cindy can spin the wheel and everybody can see it. And what a spin it was. River Rat Reel Repair. Keith, if you'll contact Jared Tempest at River Rat Reel Repair and tell him you was a winner watching Catfish Weekly playing the Rig Rat prize wheel. He will fix you up with a free reel cleaning. Jarrett does an excellent job. So if you have anything that you need repaired or another reel that you need cleaned, you can go ahead and send it down there at the same time. Won't cost you any more for shipping. You'll be very pleased with what he does for you. He does an outstanding job. He is also going to be one of the sponsors to our holiday spectacular. So be sure and give him a shout. Anybody that sees him online, excellent work, and you'll be very happy with what he does for you. All right, Doc. And the winner tonight of the grand prizes that we're giving away will receive a Rig Wrap Merry Fishmas stocking. Is that looking right? I got it held right? Okay. We're gonna give one away and we'll ship them out. So be sure, if you are a winner of the drawing tonight to be in for the grand prize, be sure to send me your address and we will ship you out one Merry Fishmas stocking. And that will be your prize for tonight.
And the winner is Eric Deary,
Eric Deary.
D-E-R-Y.
Lives up in northern Illinois. Great guy, watches the show about every week, I believe. So, Eric, be sure to contact me with your shipping address, and I will get that out. You're going to love this. I'm not sure, but I believe Eric has some children, and that might be just the ticket. They're a great prize. And popular, Doc. Everybody wants a Fishmas stocking.
Yeah.
They don't really have much use for them throughout the year, but this time of the year, everybody's after them.
I wonder why.
Yeah, Glenn, he sells the crap out of them things, I think. I hope he does, because I know he had a whole bunch of them at one time. They're a great prize to give away. They really are. And you'd be surprised how much stuff you can stuff in one of them. It's amazing.
Yeah, they're quite large.
Yeah, they'll hold a lot of stuff. And, you could fill that up with Hershey's Kisses and send it back to me, or Crown, or homemade chocolate chip cookies, cinnamon rolls. Any of the above will work. Doesn't really matter. Hey, Junior Proctor's in the house tonight.
Doc, what was that big fish where they needed scale? That was Dale Kearns. He called me. It was after dark, and he said, "Have you got a set of scales?" I said, "Yep, I got a set of scales." So we took him down there, and we put 2 sets of scales on that fish. Glenn's Rig Wrap scales, which go to 110, dashed out at 110.
Wow.
We saw 110 on it, and then all dashes went across it. So I have no idea how big that fish was, but I can tell you from looking at it, it was huge.
That's awesome.
It would have been so we teased Dale about the fact, you probably had a state record and you just went and throwed it back in the water. Which
you never know. If you got one that's bounding out if you got something that's bounding out scales, it's a good idea just to get hold of somebody and check it to see. Because when they get that big, it is really hard to tell. And Eric, you don't have to give that to your nephews. I'm sure they'd appreciate it, but you can keep it for yourself. Maybe somebody just fill it up. It's on your mantle.
Yeah. So, but it was a huge fish. It was fish of a lifetime. I was really glad to see Dale to get it. He just wanted to go out and fish at night, and the bigger ones have a tendency of biting better at night. So, especially at Wheeler and Wilson.
We have a message from Keith Smart. Says, "Can you please give that prize to someone else that can use it?" And we can. Go to your. Give me. I'm just going to randomize it one time, and whoever's name comes up to the top, we'll give it to them. Thank you, Keith. Midwest Catter. Midwest Catter, if you will contact Jared, Keith has donated that prize back, and you can contact Jared Tempest at River Rat Reel Repair and tell him that you was the winner on Catfish Weekly playing a Rig Rat prize wheel game, and he will give you one free reel cleaning, like I said about before. It doesn't cost any more to ship one or two or three of them than it does to ship one. So if you've got more than one that needs attention, he can repair any brand, clean them up, fix them up, give you an estimate on price of repairs, but he's going to clean one of them up and ship it back to you for free. So if you have any more that needs to be done, just contact Jared. He does an outstanding job, does all the stuff on my reels for us. And man, if we've been happy with what he's done for us. And he can make them smooth. He can do the drag upgrades, anything you want to do, he can make it happen. And he does an excellent job. So give him a shout and tell him you won, and he will fix you up. Thanks so much for watching the show and playing the Rig Rat prize wheel game.
Cliff Miller, Doc, is there a picture of Dale's fish? Yes, on my Facebook page under Tim and Lynn Lang, I have all the pictures that I took of Dale's fish.
There you go. To be quite honest, Doc, I didn't know about that fish until you was just telling about it.
Yeah, well, he caught it on Tuesday, and he said, don't tell anybody about it.
Well, I understand.
He wanted to wait until after the tournament.
I understand that completely. Hey, Mike Lewis, welcome.
Glenn, we don't know how big that fish was. Your 110 scales went to dashes at 110. Actually, we waited on a Salter scales, and we couldn't. The fish was still on the floor when it hit 98, and it went to all dashes. So,
man,
so it was a toad.
Yeah, that's huge, huge.
It was a big fish.
Hey guys, we are at 97 thumbs up. If you want a drawing for some Rig Wrap easy sinker slides, we just need 3 more, and somebody's going to get them. Hey Dana, how you doing? Welcome to the show. Matthew, Mike Sanderson. That is a monster, Sonny. Paul Bird, you could go for some Crown currently. I completely understand. Oh, man, that's a hoot. 103, there it is, Doc. You need to reload, my bud. And we're going to 103. Thank you guys so much. 104, we appreciate it. That's a lot of thumbs up, and it means the world to Doc and Cindy and I. We appreciate it. And we're going to give away a package of easy sinker slides right now.
And the winner is Michael Pence.
Michael Pence.
Pence. You are the winner.
And right here they are. Michael, if you'll contact me after the show with your shipping address, I will get these out to you in the mail tomorrow. You're going to love them. If you haven't already tried them, they work so well. You just put a bead on your line next to your swivel. You clip these on. Be sure to snap your line up in there. There's a 2-groove slot in there, and they pop it up in there, and you can take them on and off without cutting your line. It's the neatest deal for sinker slides that I've ever done. It's all we use. I assume that, Doc, you still use a bunch of them.
Yeah.
And I have found it to be my favorite way to rig baits. They just work so well. And of course, they're made by the great company, Rig Wrap.
And I'm going to have to put in another order for another 100.
100? Yeah.
Yeah. Not that I use that many of them, but people see them and they say, what is that? And so, I'll give them 4 or 5 of them, and they start using them. Kenny had never seen them before. He goes, what's that? I said, oh, here you go. I said, he broke off his sinker slide. I said, you don't even have to do it. I said, just put it right there on there.
Right.
I showed him, and he goes, wow.
I've given away tons of them. And just like tying rigs when we're down was down at PK or a lot of other places, guys will say, how you tying your rigs or doing this, and we'll tie up some, and I'll give them the leader, the hook, whatever it is, and just give it all to them.
Yeah, I know you don't sell them by the hundreds, Glenn, but I
By
try to
the
buy
hundreds,
25 or 50, whatever it is, but I make sure I've got 100 with me.
yeah, I just, that's a great way to do it. And like I say, we give a lot of that kind of stuff away when we're at tournaments and at different events like Fishing for Freedom and stuff like that. Hey, you know what, Doc? Fishing for Freedom's coming up pretty quick. It'll be in June next year, but the Catfish Conference is coming up faster than anything.
Yep.
We're looking at what, 2.5 months to the Catfish Conference?
Yeah.
February, January, February. It's almost December, about 3 months or so. So
February. Let me see here.
so
February Catfish Conference. I don't have it on here.
I can't believe you don't. Wow.
That's different. What day is the Catfish Conference? The 15th?
I don't know.
22nd? I'm not sure.
I'm not either.
I know the Columbus Fishing Show is on 7th, 8th, and 9th. I am giving a seminar there at that. And the Cincinnati Fishing Show is on the 28th, 29th, and the 1st. And I'm doing seminars there. I'm also doing a seminar at the Hoover.
Very nice.
There in Columbus. So
very nice. I know Steve
February 21st and 22nd.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you. Trophy Trash Fishing, Matthew Schott. Boy, everybody's on it. Everybody knows when it is.
Everybody knows when that conference is going to be.
Oh, boy. Except for Doc and Lyle.
That's right. That's right. The two that go every year.
I know.
We not missed one yet, have we, Doc?
I saw something. No, not yet. I saw something. Let me look through chat here. Somebody asked, do they break at the plastic if snagged? No, they do not.
Nope.
They do. I mean, that's why I like using them. They do not break.
Nope.
At least I've never had one. And I'm pulling up trees. I'm pulling up everything.
I have deformed the stainless steel deal on them, but it never come unhooked, and it never I never lost anything. But I did deform one of them, one of the hooks, the keepers on them. But I have actually stretched out one of the little side pieces on the copolymer, whatever they're made out of.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I never lost one. Never have lost one. Never have broke one. But you need to put a bead on it between it and your swivel, and you're gold, man. And
the bead is very important, just for the fact that the way that slide is made, if you don't put a bead there, it'll have a tendency of getting hung in that little groove that goes down through.
Yep, that's right. You really got to do that. Nylon with microfibers. Okay.
So that's why they don't break.
Yeah, they don't break, man. They're very strong, and the little hole that comes down off of there that the dual lock fits into, you can't even make them twist them, bend them, anything. They're just very well made. And Junior says he uses rubber beads. Great idea. But yeah, that's one of the biggest home runs that Glenn has ever built. And he's got some great products. This is not the only great product he's got, but this is a no-lose situation. If you get them, you're going to love them. It's just the way it is, because you don't have to cut your line anymore. You just take them on and off, and if you want to use a sinker slide, you can, or you don't have to. So great product from Rig Wrap, and I'll get them out to you tomorrow. Is it time? Cindy's jacking the wheel back and forth.
Yeah. It is.
Whose turn is it to spin or pick a number?
Cindy's.
Let me have it. 3. 1, 2, 3. I got something to tell you, Doc, here in just a minute. And the winner is David Funk, our old buddy David Funk, who is the big supporter of us with King Kraken, that is also donating prizes to our holiday spectacular. Oh, and he won a rig wrap prize. The way him and Glenn go at it, that's pretty interesting. But David, to save all the headaches, you just contact me and I'll ship them out from here. You won't have to deal with Glenn worrying about who's wearing whose clothes or none of that stuff. You just contact old Lyle. He'll ship out you some rig wraps. Thank you so much for everything you do for our show. We appreciate it so much. And you're going to love your rig wrap products. And don't worry, I am quite sure that Glenn will have some comments for you later on. Keith Smart says, Glenn, though his Walmart only has them sometimes, that's probably because every time I see them in the store, whoever's around them, they pick them up, buy them all. Man, that's some cool stuff. I will send him some used ones. No, I'll send him some new ones. Them two go at it all the time, man.
Yeah.
I
did do my, I have the one rig wrap sinker slide that's attached to my, that huge bumper that I use to, when I get hung up, and I sent that down a couple of times and it knocked them out. It knocked the hook loose off them cedar trees.
That's awesome.
I don't know if it knocked the hook loose or it just broke the limb on the cedar tree, but them cedar trees are pretty unforgiving down there.
Yes, they are. They was really bad. Yeah,
I'm going to convert. The ones that were worse are the ones that were on PK. They get those things would get you hung up, and you never got anything.
Not usually, no.
Not for me.
Yeah, I'm going to convert old Funk over to some rig wraps. There's no question about that. Oh, Paul was not dealing with his Chinese buffet too well tonight. Get some off of eBay. Rubber Beads, Dale's Tackle is a great place to buy your products. Hooker's Terminal Tackle probably has them. Tackle Bandit probably does too. Great information, Adam. Great information. So everything else go good on your trip? I mean, you was gone for a long time, back and forth to Wheeler and to Memphis and all over the place, and now you're back home. And how long are you going to be home?
At least for this week.
At least for this week.
Who knows what next week is?
Yeah. Now, you and I was talking before the show, and you bought your boat, and it come with a lower unit for a prop and a lower unit for a jet drive. And it come with the jet on it.
Yes.
Now, you took that off today.
I took that off, and I put the prop drive on. It took me about 3.5 hours. I had never done it. I wasn't really sure how to do it. So I went online, and, there's a sticker on the prop on the jet drive. So I went online, and there were all the instructions right there for you. So I sat, in that 3-hour period, I just sat down, I printed it out. I sat down and I read it, because I didn't want to mess something up.
Right.
And, it had been on. Okay. So the boat is a 2006. When it came in, they removed the prop drive off of it and installed the jet drive. It had not been removed since that time. And so, I was sitting there and I'm going, oh boy, I hope this stuff comes off. It's been on here since 2006 and it's 19 now. And that's a long time. But all that stuff just slipped right off. I mean, I figured I would have to pound on that impeller to get it to come off. But when I spun that nut off, it started sliding down. Somebody was smart. They got a plastic sleeve in there.
Good deal.
So, it won't adhere to anything. Slid right off. I took all the bolts came off, and I, put the other unit up. And then, old age is starting to get to me, but, I got a prop for it, and I got a thrust washer, the nut, the cotter pin, and I can't find the thrust washer or the nut or the cotter pin. So
happens to me all the time.
Yeah, so I got on Brown Sport and on the East Coast, ordered this stuff. It'll be here in a couple of days. And I figured tomorrow I'll go down and, I was tearing the barn apart trying to find this stuff. And I'll probably stumble on it tomorrow, so I'll have a spare.
There you go. James Dockery wants to know, did you get a chance to fish the ocean on your road trip?
No. I watched people fish the ocean on my road trip. Next year, I will probably fish the ocean because it was a lot of fun. Them guys were catching sharks, and a lot of people say, well, those are dogfish, and I don't think dogfish have teeth. I wasn't about to, I took some pictures I said, this is not a dogfish. Those are jagged teeth in there. Yeah, they're many teeth, but I'll tell you what, them things, they sit there and chomp away, and you would come up missing some digits if you put your fingers in there like we do on catfish.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. Mike Lewis says, Doc, whenever you want to hit the Kanawha River for blues, let me know. Canal River, okay.
Yeah, I'm into it, Mike.
I thought you would be.
Yeah.
That's just another step in the road for you, buddy.
Well, no, I didn't fish it. I spent 6 hours on the pier talking to all the retired guys that were from all over the United States that had moved down there and were fishing. So, and I had a blast. It was a lot of fun. I just go from guy to guy to guy, sit there and talk to them. A lot of military guys were retired. So, I listened to, some of the guys were on ships. Some of them was on aircrafts. I really enjoyed that. It was one of my daughter kept texting me on the phone, Dad, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. I said, leave me alone. I'm having a good time here. So, and then she goes, well, you need to eat. I said, well, I'll eat supper. I'm not worried about dinner. I'll eat supper. So, but I had a good time. I really enjoyed it. And then
That's cool.
The day that we got ready to leave, we had gone on a dolphin tour, and they were telling us that the dolphins, you very seldom see the dolphins out on the open ocean. Most of them are in the harbors and stuff like that. They stay there during the wintertime. But the morning that we got ready to leave, I went down on the beach and was taking my morning pictures, and all of a sudden, dolphins everywhere. I got some nice pictures. If everybody went to my Facebook page, they saw the pictures of the dolphins I got. So
I did see those. They were very
cool.
Nice.
It was really cool seeing all that. Pictures don't do it justice. It was kind of neat listening to things out there cackling away like they do, like Flipper did from years ago. For those of us that have been around,
are old enough to remember Flipper.
Yeah, you hear that cackling noise he made. That's exactly what we were hearing. So it was really cool.
Yeah, there's probably not a handful of us that's on here tonight that can remember when Flipper wasn't a rerun, and I do.
Yeah. So, that was, believe it or not, I'm 66 years old. That is the first time I'd ever been on beach. So
really,
it was pretty odd. Yeah,
cool.
I was making another memory, eating it up. I loved it.
Heck yeah.
We stayed in a big house right there on the beach. It was really cool. 8 bedrooms, 8 bathrooms. So had a big studio, huge swimming pool. So I was in the pool at night, go take a shower, and then it was lights out. And then I'd be up the next morning. Wasn't even setting an alarm. I'd get up next morning right as the sun was coming up and head down to the beach.
That's
Every
awesome.
like that.
What a time.
Yep. Got home on Sunday and I did my washing and stuff like that. And then I decided, well, I'm going to head for Alabama. So I packed the truck and off to Alabama. I headed. I stayed overnight in Bowling Green, Kentucky, and then I arrived in Alabama on Monday morning. So, and I just got back last night. So, I stay real busy.
That's awesome. All American Catfishing is in the house. Welcome, Tim. For you guys that haven't checked it out, go over to All American Catfishing's Facebook page and check them out. They got some really cool stuff going on for next year, and he's working on a bunch of projects. I know I don't have any specifics for you, but I know he's working on them, and he'll have all that stuff ready and going before long. Great group of guys fish that tournament, and it's very well run. They also feed you before and after the tournament. Now, who in the world else does that? It's just pretty cool. So welcome to the show tonight, Tim. We're glad to have you in here. Need to get you on as a guest one of these days when you get your schedule and everything out so we can talk about what you got happening for next year.
Yep, that sounds good. James Dockery. Oh, is Doc thinking about a move? Nope. It's hard for me to get away. About 3 weeks was about as long as I wanted to be away from my kids and my grandkids.
And he's got kids playing football and all kinds of other sports, and I know for a fact you've been enjoying a bunch of that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'll just drive the truck, go where I'm at, and then I come home. And
there you go. Hey, Doc, how about a tip of the week tonight? We're running on close to an hour. We still got another drawing to do.
Oh, yeah. Okay, tip of the week. And now, I've given this one before, and so I'll just go ahead and do it again. It's starting to get cold outside, and the moisture in the air is going to start getting a little bit thicker, stuff like that. And I'm back to use this dielectric grease. Dielectric grease is a fisherman's friend. Use it on your electronics, especially on these plugs. See that? All right, let me get this here so you can, I got it right there. See a little bit of corrosion that you see right there? Dielectric grease, just, put it on there, put it on the pins, put it on where you plug in your boat, anything. I put this stuff on my batteries. I put it on all that kind of stuff.
And it will not prevent you from making a connection. It will not. Right.
It transfers the power.
Yep.
So, that green kind of tarnishy looking stuff, that is a power robber.
Yes, it
so
is.
This stuff, just, you clean it off. Now, another thing I want to tell everybody, a lot of people will take a wire brush, and you can do that. You can take a wire brush, you can scrub that out, but before you do that, pull the fuse on, because you're going to blow it. If you use a wire brush to scrub on this, it's gonna pop the fuse. So take the fuse out before you go to scrub on these plug-ins, and then scrub it out. Put that dielectric grease. Take a little air, one of the can, unless you got a air compressor or something. Blow it out after you scrub it and all that. Put that dielectric grease on there. Put it in the pins that this unit fits into. You can use it for a lot of good stuff, but, I just can't express how, that corrosion is nothing but a power robber, and somewhere down the road, it's going to give you problems. And that's Doc's tip for the night.
And a great tip that it is, and that is something you had done it before, but it should be brought up every year about this time, Doc. Patriot James, Catfishers of America. The first drawing was won by Eric Deary.
I already told him.
Oh, you already told him? Well, I've told him again. If you guys happen to think about it, every Wednesday night, Patriot James does a show on YouTube similar to ours. He talks about a lot of stuff. He has some great guests on his show. Be sure to tune in at 7 o'clock on Wednesday nights and watch James and his group. It's a bunch of fun-loving guys on there out east, and they do a wonderful job. All right, now,
hey, real quick, let me go over the results for the
absolutely.
championship. First place. I've known these guys a long time. I've known Travis longer than his dad, but his dad, Wayne, listens to our show. He never can hear it on Monday nights, but he says, I'm a big fan. And he says, I listen to you guys on Tuesday.
Awesome.
Because he works on Monday. But the winners of the 60,000 Excel boat was Wayne and Travis Bodine. They're out of Kentucky. 268.30 pounds. Second place was Dale and Matt Kearns, 248.85. They also had the big fish of the tournament, which was a 72.15 pound blue. Third place was Jason Shaw, Kevin Wolfolk, 240.15. Josh Williams, Warren Simmons were in fourth. 239.25, and Joe and Demetrius Westbrook were at 223 pounds, and that was your top 5 finishers at the Cabela's Championship.
That's great.
You know, we ended up 26th place and 5 pounds out of cash on the check.
That's pretty good. The thing about that amazed me the very most, Doc, was the first day there was 25 teams over 100 pounds.
Oh yeah, that was unreal.
That really is. Good
bringing 90. You know, we knew we were right in the 90s or something. And I told Kenny, I said, well, the Sea Art tournament, the top 20, I know in 20th place was like 69 pounds. So I said, man, we ought to be sitting good. So I was a little, wow. Yeah. All you see is hundreds up there. I'm like, wow, everybody was on fish.
Well, you know, Wheeler is Wheeler, and it's a confined area where for the most part they can't get away from you. And if the bite is on, you're going to see giant weights, but it's like everywhere else. If it's not, you'll see those lower weights, but there's always quality fish caught down there.
Oh yeah.
Always.
Now,
and it's a blast.
Now, I don't know if the flooding there has done it, but this was the first time, and I had talked to a lot of people. This was the first time I've ever fished there where what I call the chewers were just riddling baits. And we're talking fish that are like 1 to 2 pounds.
You never see them very often down there. I don't know where they go, but you rarely catch them.
Surprised. But, you know, I talked to a lot of people. Wanda Barner. Yeah, she said that they've been fishing there a lot of years, and she says they have never seen so many chewers as what, you know, some people call them, I call them chewers, some people call them pickers, you know, rod thumpers, you know, they just like that. Yep. And then when you bring up, all you got are ribs or a hollowed out head. It's gone.
If you can catch them there, I call them eaters.
Yeah. Well, these were small. The ones we saw were smaller than eaters.
Oh, wow. They are, you know, they got to be down there.
Yeah.
Them big fish have fry every year, but usually you don't get bothered with them too bad on Wheeler, but I guess this was their time.
Well, the one thing I did notice, and we saw it happen 4 times on us, was we were calling it drumming the rod. So the rod's sitting there just doing this, and then all of a sudden it would stop. And then a big one would come back in behind him and nail the head. So we had that happen to us 4 times.
Oh, wow.
During the tournament. So
that's crazy.
2 times on Friday, 2 times on Saturday. You know, because on Saturday I was throwing away 30-pounders because, you know, they caught a 42. So anytime you're throwing away 30-pounders. And a lot of the teams were doing that. A lot of teams were throwing away 30, 40-pounders because the over 34-inch rule. So,
Yep. Lisa Haraway says they call them turtles.
turtles?
Turtles.
Yeah, leave
There's
nothing
worn
but bones and hook. That's right.
out from the dinks.
Yeah. Dink, that's another name. Yeah. I was trying. Yeah.
You never
There's so
know.
many names for it. All I know is they pester a bait really bad. And as hard as a bait was to get, you know, that would, it was tough.
Yep.
But I had a great time. I'm looking forward, I always look forward to going back to Wheeler or Wilson.
Oh, it just hell. You
I
look forward to going everywhere.
Yeah, I concentrated really heavy. I knew this tournament was coming up, and I told Kenny, I said would much rather fish Wilson than Wheeler, just for the fact that there's going to be a lot of people on Wheeler. Now, I do admit, I know of only one other time where this tournament has always been won from the lake, but this year, Travis and Wayne were up in the river, and they won this tournament by fishing the river. So
Very nice.
I know of only one other tournament. I didn't even know that. One of the guys, local down there, had told me, yeah, it was won one other time on the river. So this was only the second time this tournament, because usually the lake is what produces the big fish.
Yeah.
So, and the Bodines, I think their one fish they had was a 57, but man, they had solid unders, fish that were in the 17, 18-pound range. When you start getting fish like that are under that 34-inch limit, you're putting together a good.
That's right. Unders a lot of time is the difference in a five fish with a over and under rule. Them unders are everything a lot of times.
Yeah. So
they really are, and people forget about them because they're so worried about getting their big fish. But I've been to tournaments when 5 unders actually won the tournament.
Yeah.
Number of times. So
yeah, 5 solid numbers. That on day one, that's what the problem Dale had. He couldn't get his unders.
Right.
All he was catching was overs. He had a 72 and a 50 something in the boat, and the only under he brought to the scale on day one was a 12-inch one. Because I was teasing him. I said, I want to see you throw that thing up on your shoulder there.
If he would have had 3 good unders that first day, he might have been out of reach.
Yeah.
He might have been. If he'd have had 3 15-pounders, that would have been another 45 pounds.
Yeah.
So, because that.
And he only lost by 20.
Yeah. So, like I say, unders a lot of time is everything. Congratulations to all them guys. They'd all done a bang-up job and put up with some tough conditions at different times down there. So, great job, everybody.
And I'm happy to see Travis and Wayne win, because the boat that they had was a 2000, and it was on its last leg.
I hope they keep it and enjoy it. That's what boat deals are supposed to be. If you have a quality or a nice boat, you can always sell it or do whatever you want to. Put it back in storage till you need a boat, whatever you feel like doing. But if somebody really needs a boat and they want a boat, put that baby to use and enjoy it. That's what you fish for.
Yep, exactly.
Y'all loaded up, Doc?
Yes, sir.
Well, what do you say we give away another Merry Fishmas stocking and put the second entrant for tonight in for the drawing for the grand prizes for the Catfish or the Holiday Spectacular?
And the winner is Leslie Gideon, Gideon.
Congratulations, Leslie. If you will contact me after the show and message me your shipping address, I will put this in the mail to you, and we will get it on the way. And you, who was the other winner tonight, Eric? And Eric Deary are now in the drawing for the grand prizes that will be given away the 14th of December. Is that right?
Yep.
I believe it is. I had the date wrong last week, so I hope I got it right this time.
Nope. 16th of December.
16th of December. All right.
14th is on a Saturday.
Okay, yeah, let's do it that way. Hey, Dave Swearington just joined the show. Welcome, Dave. Dave, you got a couple of these for your daughters last year or the year before. I think it was last year. So you know what they're all about. Carolina Sky Astronomy. Palmetto Cats, thank you so much. Carl Wells and his wife are both in the show tonight. Skip Stewart. Trying to make sure I get a few more of these on. They did. They're awesome. They are awesome, man. They're great for, for grandkids and children. They're okay to have for full-grown adults. Like I said, there's a multitude of things you can fit in them, Doc.
Yep. Everybody keep an eye on Facebook. You never know where the doctor is going to show up next.
Boy, that is no joke.
What is it? Where's Waldo? Well, it's where's Doc at this week?
That is a fact. Hey, Skip, how you doing?
My daughter's having surgery on Friday, so I know I'm going to be here this week.
Yeah, well, we'll keep her in our thoughts and prayers. Cindy's sister has a run around. Was up in Columbia at the hospital the other day, so we want to make sure we keep Pam in our thoughts and prayers. She struggles with some heart problems over the years been going on for a long time, but she's a pretty tough gal, so she'll make it through it okay. I think that's about it for me tonight, Doc.
All right, Lyle.
Thank you so much for coming home, man.
Yeah, 113 thumbs up, 1 thumb down.
I'll take them odds any day. It was a great show tonight. Be sure to tune in next week. Doc should be back with us again next week. Hopefully he's going to stay home for a week or two. We'll get kind of caught up, and we'll be drawing 2 more names for the Holiday Spectacular. Thanks, everybody, for joining the show tonight. If you would, please share this to your friends so they can get involved with the holiday spirit and join us for our shows. Thanks so much. See you next Monday night.